What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Should We Cover It show every Tuesday night on twitch.tv/opnoobsonline. I am your host, aka Fred Essentialist, accompanied by Chris Kellogg, Caitlin, Peters, Dan Wheeler, Eli Ross, Mallory, Mallory Thompson, Rushax, aka Paris Forge, and Celerus, aka Cold Cortecas. We got a good show tonight, quite a lot of traders to show you, and before I get the show started, I'm going to pass the microphone to Chris, who's going to tell us a little bit about the rules. So go right ahead, Chris.
All right, so basically we're going to look at a series of games. There's roughly 25 of them. We have a YouTube link. We're going to watch the trailers, and we're going to talk about the developer as well as give a description of each game. And if you're tuning in on Twitch, and I really hope you are, you'll see that there's chat there, and we will be deciding whether or not we want to review the game or not. So if you do not want to review the game, you'll put a 0 in the chat. If you do want to review the game, you'll put a 1 in the chat. Ideally, most of these games will be good, and we'll want to review them all, but oftentimes we get trailers that are really terrible and games that just look awful. Hopefully that won't happen tonight, though. And that's pretty much it. Fred, I'll pass it back to you.
Okay, awesome. Does everybody have their little finger on the play button for the video? Everybody ready? Please give us 2 thumbs up. If everybody is ready, we're gonna get started right away. Stylomax, press play. Everybody else, press play. And we are looking at the very first game of tonight, show Drifting Lens. I repeat, Drifting Lens. Right over at you, Peter.
Drifting Lands is a hybrid of classic horizontal shoot-'em-up with a lot of strong gameplay elements coming straight from the hack and slash genre. Though Drifting Lands is still in development, you can get a taste of the game via the free demo, which is regularly updated. On to you, Caitlin.
Alchemy is a small indie game studio based in Nantes, France. They have 4 members, and they're actively working on Drifting Lands as their next game. Originally, they're Flash experts, artists, and as well as developers with a web agency history. But 5 years ago, they decided to give their best shot at creating a fun, medium-sized game with high production values. With Transcripted, their first game on PC and Mac, they acquired a solid working knowledge of Unity.
Okay, I think that's it for the description of the devs and the game. I'm going to pass the microphone away, so if you guys can raise your hands. This does not look like... we've got our first couple comments. I'm going to start with you, Dan Wheeler.
I think this looks fantastic. I've always been a big fan of like Gradius, R-Type, all those old school, horizontal scrolling shooters. This looks like it's been basically just revamped to a more modern art style. And between both graphic and art, I think this looks just fantastic. Hopefully it plays as well as it looks, but hopefully we get to find that out.
This does not look to you like a game we see too often?
Honestly, no. I haven't seen a lot of solid-looking side-scrolling shooters recently. And granted, I haven't really been paying attention to them, but most of the time you have more of a vertical scroll. And that's like more like a Ikaruga or other bullet hell type shooters. This looks a little different to me, and the perspective makes a big difference.
Chris, would you agree with that?
Yeah, actually, I completely agree with all that. There's been a series of really good space shooters recently. Particularly, I got to review Galaxy. I really like that one a lot. I know there's been a few others that people rave about. And this just kind of reminds me of like Robot Unicorn Attack meets a space shooter. I don't know if any of you folks have played that game, but it's just like a completely like psycho over-the-top game where everything is just moving quickly and there's a lot of crazy music. And this is just looks like a really good time, so I'm giving it a 1.
All right. Well, it seems that largely in favor. Before we move on, and we will move on, Paris, what's your take on this type of game? I could see you review it somehow.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I've always liked these side-scrolling, sort of bullet hell games. It was probably among the first games I played from the list of free games on, I don't know, Windows XP or something. But I like this especially. It doesn't get old for me because the genre, it's side scroller. They look the same on the surface, but what you put into the art and what you put into the enemies and the incoming, the trailer makes it look really colorful and beautiful, and that counts for a lot for this genre.
All right, awesome. And I do believe that this is the section for the games which are in beta. So we should have a link that Alucard should be passing out in the chat. Access to the beta. Normally you can sign up unless it's a closed beta. I think we've got that figured out, but I'm not sure. All the games in the first series that we're going to present to you tonight are in beta access. This is not to review the game. This is only for you to get on their website and start playing some free games. Moving on, everybody get back to the YouTube video. Be ready to hit play, press play, Stylomax, keep the ball rolling. And the second game, I'm sorry, it's still my turn. Let me get my spreadsheet back. The second game is called Ambient Prologue. Ambient Prologue. Right over at you, Peter.
Welcome to the world of endless winter. The world where every nation hopelessly searched for the better, warmer land. The world where even the brightest virtues feel like cruel lies. The world that you going to explore with young students of the most powerful unicorn of the land, two sisters, Astrum and Crinitida. Follow their story, feel the amazing atmosphere of the world, defeat powerful and majestic bosses, and I accidentally scrolled and lost my place.
Nice. Nice, Peter.
Yep.
Keep going.
Okay.
Majestic bosses, and be sure to try out every amazing spell available and fully enjoy this game. Caitlin?
It's developed by just one person, Alex Orangel from Kyiv Oblast, Ukraine, and that's all the information I have.
I'm surprised this is a one-person game because it's somewhat polished. If you're typing on your keyboard, please mute your microphone. Make sure that happens. It's cute. It's definitely cute. I'm gonna call out Celerus on this one. Celerus.
I'm not really into the whole My Little Pony fan culture. I have a lot of friends, I guess, who are though. Personally, not something I'm terribly interested in, but I would definitely say, based on the polish I see alone, it looks like something that maybe we should review. Just because we're not necessarily into it doesn't mean it doesn't deserve a fair shake, and I don't know if I can speak to the legality of it, but it certainly looks like maybe it deserves a review, in my opinion.
I think it does, and I also don't think it's a one-man show since the pony is a lady, and the name of the developer sounded pretty manly to me. Malari, what do you have on that? Any comments, questions, concerns?
I think it's definitely worth a review. I mean, Spyro is pretty good. That's kind of what the art style reminded me of, just looking at it. I can't say for sure that they're knockoffs of My Little Ponies. They definitely didn't call themselves ponies. They called themselves unicorns. But no, the game looks beautiful. I definitely think it's worth giving a playthrough.
It's one. It might even be a title for esports. Right, sorry. Moving on.
If that's what we've come to, I don't know if I want in anymore.
Yeah, I want unicorn fighting. That's what I want.
Esports for bronies.
That's funny. Unicorns keep coming back.
All right, moving on to the next trailer. The next trailer is called, again, beta key right there. Please, Alucard, if you're in the chat, send the link. And the next game is called Song of Horror. Coming out this week, or actually came out last week, as a beta access Song of Horror. Right over at you, Peter.
Song of Horror is a heavily story-driven third-person survival horror combining automated camera angles and an inspiration in the old-school classics with modern design, mechanics, and visuals evocative of mankind's eternal fear of what cannot be understood. That was one sentence. Take control of up to 16 characters who have been plunged throughout time into a nightmare for which they are not prepared. Caitlin?
It is developed by Protocol Games, a small indie studio from Madrid, Spain, and that's all the information I have on them.
I mean, to me, this is an obvious one. Yeah, Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it looks really nice, and it could be really fun and very intriguing. I kind of want to play it myself.
It's full of style. It's full of character. I'm digging what I see here. I really like the main character. The main character looks like he looks a little bit. He looks very immediately. You see him with his beard and his kind of his crunchy ways, and you want to know what happens to him. So that's not easy to create a character nowadays. I feel like that you can immediately follow and get into, especially because
that's pretty scary.
Yeah, the lighting. terrific job on the lining too. I'm definitely sold on this. Caitlin, when you type, we can hear it in the microphone. I'm gonna call out Eli Ross on this because Eli, you were to the guy who did the review for the park. It might have been somebody else actually.
Yeah, that was me. That was me.
Yeah.
There are a few things in this trailer that look odd, but it looks like it has some potential to be a fairly well done horror game. So I love horror games. I would want to play it to review it.
Yeah, and this one I graphically very polished, so it's a definite yes in my mind. The trailer is still going, I believe, unless it's no, I think we're done. So unless somebody has something else to say, we're gonna move on to the next trailer, and we are looking at Island of Nine Battle Royale, which is an FPS first-person shooter, and I could only collect clips left and right of this one on YouTube, but still enough to give you a showcase of what the beta offers. Peter, do you have anything about this FPS? It's always interesting, the FPS for indie. Go ahead.
Combining the shooting mechanics of the modern-day FPS and the settings of a science fiction universe, Islands of Nine Battle Royale promises a unique and intense multiplayer experience with a focus on survival. 100 players drop in, only one survives. Kill, outrun, or consort your way to victory while confined to one of 3 massive arenas designed by a dark and threatening alien race.
Yeah, go ahead, Caitlin. Oh, now we can hear you, Caitlin. That's the problem. Now you muted the microphone. We cannot hear you.
All right. This one is developed by Define Human Studios, and they are headquartered in Miami, Florida. They are comprised of individuals that live, breathe, and play games. In this day and age, they say that they're fortunate enough to have everyone pretty much work remotely from their own home, whether that be a windowless basement or a broken down shelter in the woods. Some of the locations they've been fortunate enough to draw top-tier talent from are Lithuania, Australia, and most recently Belgium, and they're always seeking out more to join the ranks of their diverse bunch.
Okay, does anyone have first thoughts, comments on this one? Anything that you want to point out? I'm going to call out somebody that we haven't heard much from until now. Actually, we've heard from everyone, so go ahead, Colt.
So I personally think this one looks interesting. A lot of people, I think, will be into it right off the get-go just because it looks graphically really nice, especially for an indie title. But more than that, the idea is kind of intriguing. It's got that kind of battle royale feel that you get kind of from like DayZ and things like that, but it seems to be more, even more focused on the PvP. So I think this is definitely one people are going to be interested in.
I don't know if that's me being unfair here to the genre, actually, because
Hey, you said it.
yeah, I just feel like FPS doesn't. It's not really the type of game that's very open to indie developers. At least on a yeah, I knew you would react on that. On a campaign level, like kind of like Far Cry, really heavy on the campaign, very low expectation on the online multiplayer. I don't know how you innovate. I don't know, because that's kind of the responsibility the indie devs have. Yeah, I get to you, Chris. This is a responsibility indie devs have when they contribute to any type of game, class, genre. They're gonna add something new. I don't know that you can do that with FPS, but I feel like I'm being a little bit unfair. So go ahead, Chris, hammer me down.
No, well, you're not right in some regards. So you're not wrong in some regards, in the sense that it's really hard to make a good scripted first-person shooter on an indie budget. That's for sure. But this looks like much more of an arena battle kind of game, which is definitely something you can do on an indie budget. And I'm just reading I went to their website immediately because I thought this would be a game I'd really like, because I like shooters, and a sci-fi setting is not common for a military shooter. And I really liked Crysis. And it says, in quote, "The Hunger Games meets Counter-Strike." And that sounds like a game I'd like to play. That sounds like a fun game. Yeah. So I'm actually on their webpage right now trying to figure out how to download this. I don't know exactly how yet, but I'll get back to everyone when I figure it out.
Yeah, you can find it on the spreadsheet, and hopefully Alucard, if you're here, hopefully you're linking this. Does anybody have any reactions, comments they want to add on this game, or can we move on? 3, 2, then move on. All right, we're moving on. We're moving on. The next game, Stylo, please press play, and the next game is Black Desert and it's a closed beta. It's a closed beta, so Alucard, if you can link to the beta access, but you're gonna have to register, and there's some chances you won't be able to make it, or I don't know if there's a pricing model or something. But that game looks, I'm intrigued by Black Desert. Moving on, Peter, right at you.
Black Desert is a huge sandbox-oriented MMORPG that provides a variety of unique experiences, including strategy-oriented action such as castle sieges and complex battle, and also sophisticated simulation content such as trading, NPC hiring, and real estate management. Caitlin?
Pearl Abyss was established in September 2010 as a Korean standalone game development company targeting MMORPG users worldwide. They have created and developed Continent of the North, also known as the MMORPG C9. The CEO of Pearl Abyss, Dale Kim, anticipates and fully expects Black Desert to be a global success due to its creative and stimulating gameplay. Mr. Kim and his team of over 50 members have produced many box office hits together over the last 10 years. Utilizing their previous experiences, Black Desert was designed to incorporate and satisfy the demands of gamers everywhere.
It is funny because to me that didn't look like a Korean production. It looked like an American production. Way less flashy than what the Koreans usually tend to do, and I would play this game, and the action looks really fluid and just I would play this game. I'd try it out. I'm just sorry it's closed beta. Any comments? Anyone has anything to say on this, Malari? We're gonna practice after this, Malari.
Yeah, you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
I'm very thrilled with your progress.
Thank you.
It reminds me of, it's just a hack and slash. I don't know. That's my initial reaction, and that's not really my preferred type of game. But the animation does look pretty good. And I think he was riding a dinosaur at one point.
I think so. Yeah.
I'm down for that. But I mean, yeah, it's pretty.
Hack and slash can be fun though. I like the hack and slash as a genre.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you get the best sword, super fun.
It's the best games to play when you're not really actually playing or focusing. You can just hang out with your friends and stuff. I love that. Colt.
You know, based on the description and just kind of watching it, it almost reminds me a little bit of Mountain Blade, which was one of my favorite games. And if it's anything like that, then this is definitely going to be one that I think a lot of people are going to be into.
Yeah, so I say we give this one a go and play it some on TeamSpeak. Are we still on the beta? I believe there's a couple more beta that needs to be shown. Yes, there's 2 more before we get to the new games this week. At the end of the beta, I believe we'll be delivering 1 free key, 1 giveaway to somebody in the chat. So stay tuned. We'll be giving away Saint Row 4 to somebody in the chat. Moving forward, press play, everybody. And the next game is Devilian, and this one is in open beta. Peter, right at you.
Devilian, or Devilinian, however you want to say it. You are the last vanguard of Nala, a half-devil hero fighting to save your world from a fallen god. Sign up for beta and join thousands of players in the vast, persistent world action RPG. Spread your wings, sharpen your steel, and unleash the devil within. From Tryon Worlds. Caitlin, what do you got on them?
Tryon is a developer and publisher of innovative AAA games, free, fair, and fun titles that open windows into universes unknown. Since their founding in 2006, their games have been born of a fearless commitment to innovation and a constant willingness to refine and evolve. For them, that means running with impossible ideas, fostering open and honest communication with their players, and hosting the best stuff they'd otherwise never get to play. All Tryon games, from acclaimed titles like Rift and Trove to projects yet to be announced, are a reflection of the passion and enthusiasm of their whole team and community. That's something they could not be prouder of as a company, as a collection of artists, and as gamers.
Anyone on this one should spark a few comments. Eli?
Well, that was a whole lot of marketing speak for their company. It looks like it'd be good for a review, but I get the feeling it's pretty generic as an RPG, just because, I mean, it looks like it's a lot of the same kind of stuff that you've seen in games over and over and over.
I feel like we're what's the word I'm looking for when you've had so much stuff, the same stuff, we're jaded. I feel like a lot
Yeah.
of us gamers are jaded on this type of stuff, and it's just it's not that exciting. You can't just, it's not because you have some sort of Lord of the Rings whatever type of feel of epicness that you're gonna get us. The big productions might, but you need to bring in something special that immediately pops out, and I don't know that this one actually does. The artwork is definitely excellent, but nowadays that doesn't say much. Anything on this one before we move on? All right, I guess we're moving on, and the last game today that you can sign up to beta for is Albio Online, and it's in early access. Albio Online, Peter, right at you.
Challenge yourself with intense, exhilarating PvP fighting with the great warriors in the open world of Albion. Gear up and use teamwork to send the enemy fleeing from the battlefield. Only the most skillful fighters will leave the field victorious. Caitlin?
Sandbox Interactive is an ambitious and up-and-coming game development studio based in the heart of Berlin. The company was founded in early 2012 and currently employs a team of 25, bringing together some of the best in the industry. They offer a professional working environment with flat hierarchies and a communicative, efficient team. Their working culture is all about transparency and communication, and offering their employees the highest level of responsibility and goal-oriented tasks.
I'm going to call out Dan Wheeler on this one. Dan, what you've got on this?
Honestly, I want to like it. I really do. It kind of, based on what I've heard about it before even coming into the show, and this is going to be a big throw out there, it kind of reminds me of what I hope it would be is like Ultima Online. If anybody played that greatness back in the day. Yeah. I'm hoping it's like that. I've heard it kind of is, but I really haven't been following it enough to say much more about if it's like that or not. But if it's like that, sign me up. I'm in. I know some people are streaming it already, which is pretty cool if you guys want to check that out if you're really interested in this game. But, I mean, graphically it looks pretty stellar. It doesn't look like it's anything that's going to blow out of the water. It's a little mobily, but a little bit better, I'd say. But overall, I'm excited for it, and I really hope they pull it out. I mean, they've been working for this for a while, so
definitely
we'll have to give it a see and see what happens.
Definitely looks like your typical Kickstarter project. Well, even the kind of the ways they promote it with the guy in his fancy haircut on the video, it just to me it's a little tacky, to be frank. The whole thing feels a little tacky, a little too polished, like well produced. I don't know if I can. I'm always but it doesn't mean anything about the game really. The game could be just as good. Celerus.
That's just LA culture.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Exactly.
Honestly, for me, it looks a little bit like the one before it, like Devilian. It's just another RPG hack and slash, as far as I can tell. If you played one of them, it seems kind of like you played them all these days.
Yeah, and it's kind of the problem with, you have Pillars of Eternity, you have that other game that comes out, I always forget the name. There's two of them which really made a bang, and the revival of Baldur's Gate, and now you start seeing just a ton of those games because you can make money off of it. But are you really promoting something that's healthy for the industry? I'm not sure. All right, I think that's it for the actual betas and alphas for the week. We're going to be delivering to somebody in the chat the key for Saints Row 4. So the process is pretty simple. You plug in a number between 1 and 100. Actually, we're going to make that number 3, not to confuse with the votes. You plug in a number 3 and 100, and the closest one to the number that I have in my little head right here is going to get the game. So go right ahead, and after the first trader, we'll be giving the game out to the lucky winner. Moving forward to the next game on the list, and the first game for this week is Tenchu General. Peter, right at you, Tenchu General, and people start voting.
Tenchu General is a simple, elegant, real-time strategy game for those who favor short play sessions over long sessions. Casual gameplay combined with the challenge of continuously adapting enemies allow for surprisingly challenging exercise and strategy. It is a crossbreed between a board game and a classic RTS. If you like Risk or 8-Minute Empire, Tenchu General is your game. Arriving on the 1st of December, which was today. Caitlin?
Smart Art Game Studio is a Dutch independent game studio focused on combining favorite gameplay mechanics, AI, with character graphics that present a consistent design and a clean style.
I like it. I don't know. It's funky. It's toonish. I like it. Chris, you seem to be nodding. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, I take a look at this and I'd say this is definitely a game we should cover. The graphics look amazing, and I love real-time strategy games that have character like this to them, because there aren't many. A lot of real-time strategy games are so mechanized these days, and this is just a really cool one that kind of reminds me a little bit of like Warcraft 3, but it's got its own spin. I would like to play this game.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of these guys came from the Blizzard shop, just because it looks that way, it feels that way, it has that Blizzard feeling. Very polished, very nice. Anybody else on Paris? What's your take on this one?
I really like it. I don't like it when for strategy games, if there's no strategy at all, like it's toned down. So like the hope for this game would be that with all that they've toned down and made simple and short, that they've really focused and optimized like how different ways you can play this, how you can strategize, and it does look favorable. Like the trailer is kind of short, so I can't tell too much from that, but yeah, no, it's something I would definitely try. Yeah.
Sorry, guys. All right, and it looks like the lucky winner for tonight's giveaway of Saints Row 4, and we're giving 2 more games away tonight, so stay tuned. It's not over. The lucky winner is Stitchwood. Congratulations, you've got yourself a key for Saints Row 4, and I'll be sending it to you during the next trailer. And the next trailer is, everybody be ready. Countdown, yes, round of applause. The next game is Valhalla Hills. Valhalla Hills, everybody press play. Peter, right over at you.
Lead your people, survive the wilderness, fight for honor, reclaim your eternal reward. A brand new strategy game from the developers of Cultures and the Settlers 2. Available on August 24th, according to our sheets. I don't know if that's true. Caitlin?
Fnatic Software was founded in 1998 in Germany, and their first game was a conversion of the classic board game The Settlers of Catan for a digital medium. They also specialize in Windows, NDS, PSP, browser, and mobile devices, and they support other products during the implementation of moving games to that, and they never lose their passion for games.
Nice. We never lose our passion for playing them either. Chris?
Well, I'm trying to understand what this game is like from the trailer, but it sounds like a city management game, and that seems pretty cool. And I really enjoy a lot of city management games, and the graphics is nice as well.
Yeah, it looks like Fallout.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it does a little bit.
That's how bad Fallout looks.
Oh man! Well, I'm not gonna get in the middle of that argument, but I really enjoyed I really enjoy city management games. So I think maybe it's a good one.
Anyone else? Dan?
This looks really interesting to me. I mentioned in chat there, it looks like a fusion of Clash of Clans meets Black and White, which is cool because I like both games, but I felt both were missing a little bit. So, I mean, you add a little more complexity to something like Black and White, and you add something to do beyond just building and warring Clash of Clans, I think you might have a winning formula. So I'm really excited to see how this actually plays out.
This really looks like Fallout, though. I'm sorry to say. I feel like I'm playing Fallout.
Such a hater.
This is an indie game, don't forget, so it's good that it looks like Fallout.
Yeah, no, it's props to the developers for sure. It's impressive. Jet Weird of Gerantum. That's the service for your city type of game. That was City Economy, and we are moving to the next game for this week, available on Steam, Militia. Peter, right at you.
Militia is a turn-based strategy game that brings the thrill of victory to single player. It's simple to pick up, and from the moment you start, you'll be learning and improving, building your skills, learning new strategies, and ranking up on the single-player ladder. Caitlin?
Did we skip City Economy?
Sort of.
Yeah,
Okay.
kind of.
All right. Brain Good Games is a 2-man indie development studio located in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, focusing on creating tightly designed and lasting game experiences. Their current project is the turn-based strategy game Militia.
I think, Stylo, I think you're one trailer behind, though, and that may be part of the confusion. Because right now I'm looking at Twitch and I'm seeing Seed Economy on the feed.
That's what I was commenting on previously because that's what I had on my trailer list.
Yes. So now you see the Fallout comparison.
Now I see a follow up.
Now you see it. It makes sense, right?
Yes, much more so now. Yes.
Not,
Yeah.
not that bad.
In any case, I'm gonna say yes because I'm becoming more. The more we do these shows, the more open-minded I become, and the more I feel like, well, some people like those games, and there may be a lot of thought put into those games, and they may be challenging enough that they deserve a review. So I'm going to be open-minded and say, yeah, it's not all about the graphics, and maybe this is challenging enough that it's worth a review. Does anybody else? I'm going to call Colt on this because I've seen Colt review some strange games.
Are we talking City Economy or Militia?
Militia.
Okay, because I haven't quite caught up yet.
You haven't grasped it. That's okay.
Yeah, I'm a little confused of the order of what just occurred.
Militia is the one that looks like
This
from
is
what?
the puzzle-looking game.
Yeah, it's the puzzle.
Puzzle thing. Okay.
So if anybody's on that one, Paris, still confused as well?
No, I'm also very lost. I'm on
Okay.
something different.
I think
entirely.
that
Expecting City Economy.
order, but I can comment on Militia because I did have a look at the trailer. It looks like a very basic game, and we've got a lot of games this week. I would say for all the ones I've seen to skip so far, this is the one I would skip.
Okay, fair enough. Malari?
Well, it might be fun. It leaves a lot to the imagination, which there's something to be said for that.
Yeah.
You give her the hard
I
ball.
don't know.
I did.
I wouldn't prefer to review it. I wouldn't be able to justify it, gratify it for what it is.
Get
It
some.
might be awesome.
Yeah, Colt and Paris.
So I finally just caught up with the trailer.
I got that much.
I looking at this, I would say probably from a should we review it standpoint, I'm gonna say no. It looks like maybe it could be fun, but I just don't think that this is something a lot of people are really gonna look at and be interested in right out the gate. I know I'm looking at it, and to me, it looks a little bit like Minesweeper. So I just think I think this is one we definitely should probably pass over.
Paris, you feel the same way?
Yeah, same way. I'm not sure what it is. It might be a simple puzzle. It might be like high-speed chess or something. But like from the first look at it, it just seems like a lot of maybe random dice simulators or something just very predictable. And like you look at that one screen, like even the trailer just shows that, and that seems to be the entire game. So I assume if you look at that one screen on that one board with all the symbols, you pretty much have an idea of it. It's not something like we can really review because I don't think most of us here could actually spend that much time on it. Like we'll get it like right away.
We're busy people. Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Let's move on. Next game, everybody press play. Stylo, keep up with us. I'm hitting play, and the next game is called Sphere 3 Enchanted World. Sphere 3 Enchanted World. Peter, right at you.
Take a journey to an epic fantasy world of Sphere 3 Enchanted World, the PvP-based MMORPG with hardcore non-target system. Play it for free to experience massive battles, breathtaking castle sages, and deep storyline, and even more. Coming out tomorrow.
Nice.
Caitlin?
Unfortunately, their entire page looks like it's in Russian, so I would imagine they're from Russia, and they were founded in 1991. Nikita Online.
Looks great. I mean, I know I just made a couple comments about, Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones. This one's kind of got me excited. Chris.
Did they just launch a raccoon in a catapult?
Yes,
That happened. They just took a raccoon and they just put it there and launched that with a bunch of rocks. I mean, I was any game that has that kind of sense of humor, I'm willing to consider. It kind of, I wonder if it's kind of like Lineage, or I can't quite tell if it's more of a top-down perspective, but it looks very polished and very pretty. I don't play a lot of RPGs, but I could see myself enjoying this one.
Yeah, the problem is this is not actual game footage, and at least I don't think it is. It'd be pretty amazing if it was.
It does look a little bit like Guild Wars.
Yeah, this is all like CGI.
I don't know. I don't know if this is CGI. I think it's real game footage.
I'd be surprised. I don't. Maybe.
Nah, it doesn't. I don't know. Well, I guess we don't know. We'll know tomorrow.
I could.
Oh, is that the raccoon? Oh, there he is.
Raccoon. I'm in.
Eli, what do you make of a game like this?
a
I
lemur.
was actually going to say that is definitely cutscene footage. It's not from in-game. I would definitely do a review on it, but I expect we're going to have really harsh things to say about it because that's their cutscene pre-rendered animation stuff that they're using for their trailer, and it is really poorly animated.
Yeah.
So it's worth a review, but we're going to have bad things to say.
And this is the type of game that I wouldn't be surprised if it was overpriced. So you go on Steam and you find just because they got all that cutscenes and stuff going on, big on production value, but you actually have no idea how the gameplay is gonna unfold. And bam, $29.99. They roof it in the indie scene because $29.99 for an indie game and this is a no name. I think I don't think they have much of an history, so I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know. Dan.
They've got Sphere 1 and 2 as history, apparently. I don't know where that happened with that, but I mean, this is
Doesn't
3,
mean much.
so there must be something out there. I just never heard of it. But
Yeah, and sometimes even that is a marketing tool. Just saying it's the number 3 is a marketing tool, and the 2 might have been like school projects for all you know.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm gonna look into it.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I don't want to cast it. I don't want to ban it before it actually comes out. Next game that we will be highlighting is Darius Burst Chronicles Saviors. Everybody press play. Peter, right at you.
Darius Burst Chronicles Saviors is the last installment in Tato's Darius series of arcade-style shooting games. Blast hordes of alien sea monsters and blaze your own trail through branching environments. Caitlin?
All I have is that it was made by Chara Ani and Pyramid. No link.
Okay, that's interesting. I'm still checking the trailer out. And funny, Dan, you were saying, I think on the first trailer that we don't see this type of games all that much, and here comes the second one this week. I don't know. I don't know how anymore you can sell those games with a straight face. To be frank,
Well, considering this has Tato backing it, to me that's a must review.
Okay, explain, Peter.
Tato's been around since the 80s. They've made amazingly great games for a long, long time.
So okay, fair enough. I bow to that. I bow to your expertise on this. Then
It's funny because not only was I mentioning this genre, I didn't have a lot of titles, but this is one of the titles I was referring to. Its newest iteration. Darius Twins, Gradius, R-Type, they're all kind of where the history comes from in this genre and this playstyle. And yeah, I mean, he's right. Taito is a huge company. I mean, they've done everything from RPGs to some of your favorite arcade games that were, back in the 80s, 90s. I mean, they're not a small company by any means, although they are not in the spotlight very often. I've never had a truly bad title from them. I might bite my tongue in a minute. I know someone's going to correct me, but I'm solid for this. I mean, I look forward to checking it out. If they got a new iteration, they must have something new up their sleeve, and that's something I'm looking forward to.
yeah,
3,000 stages.
damn, 3,000 stages. Nobody has this amount of time. Luke Paris is yawning already. Chris.
Actually, I was kind of suckered in by those dual monitor and widescreen support things too. I've never seen a game that was played on a monitor quite that wide. I don't know if that's just me, but that was quite wide, and that would be kind of cool to have a shooter that took place on 2 monitors. So I like that idea, and I like that there does seem to be this continual push to bring the space shooter genre into the modern world, in the modern century. And so far, I've liked everything I've seen, and I have no reason to doubt that I would not like this game too. It's weird that the space shooters made this incredible comeback, 30 years after it was really popular, but it seems to be, seems to be doing that.
All right, well, if you guys are sold, I'm sold. I'm going to move on to the next trailer. Everybody press play. Monstro Battle Tactics. And notice that I said it with the Italian accent.
Monstro is like chess. That is not the Italian
You
accent.
said it with the American accent all the way. Go ahead.
But the units have statistics, and your opponent is noticeably dumber than the average Grandmaster, which is still more than enough to make a game challenging and fun. I'm not sure how that describes the game, but there you go. Caitlin?
Retrocade is a developer of retro-style games, mostly Flash, for the first time making its way to the indie world.
I was still pouring the beer. That's all you got, Caitlin?
That's all I got.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a second game we're gonna vote a 0 on, I'm gonna give that one a 0. I'm not interested, just not interested. But that may be me. If anybody has a rebuttal on the me not being interested, please fight me on this, Chris.
No, I'm just saying, old school graphics automatically make it good. So that's just my 2 cents.
Seriously? I hope you're messing with me because I feel exactly the opposite. Malari.
No, I kind of feel like, I see your frustration. The more and more time we see a lot of games and just going with the old school graphics, I can understand why people might get a little, annoyed with it after a while. But you never know. I mean, half these games are actually amazing, and it just continually proves that, really high fidelity graphics don't make a game. So just going to put that reminder out.
Yeah, you say that, and then you start walking around the map, and suddenly a hidden encounter happens, and you just start tearing your hair up.
Yeah, well,
I know, yeah.
Not as much as I tear my hair out after playing Battlefront and then remembering that I paid $60 for it.
Malari.
Well, retro graphics may make it automatically good, but that doesn't make it automatically different than every other tactic game I've ever played. And it looks really similar to a lot of things that are already happening. I'm going with 0.
Big 0. Anybody else wants to fight a 1 on this? Caitlin?
Why did they say that the game is not as smart as a Grandmaster? I want to fight a Grandmaster. That's not cool.
You are the Grandmaster, Caitlin.
No.
Yes. Oh, that's
You automatically win. You don't even have to play.
I'm getting
I'd
emotional.
like more games to make me feel that good.
Moving on, unless Colt, you had something to say, or can we move on? Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that as far as like graphics are concerned, for me it's more of like a stylistic choice because I know pixel art in particular can take forever to do, especially if it's animated. But I'm still thinking I'm gonna give this one for Monster. I'm gonna give that a 0 just because it does look kind of like 1,000 other generic strategy titles that have come out.
Yeah. So. For me, it was a big fat juicy 0. All right, moving on. The next game, Dragon Quest Heroes, the world trees woe and the blight below. I hope I didn't butcher that too much with my French accent. Dragon Quest Hero, the world trees woe and the blight below. Right over at you, Peter. I want to hear you say that name.
Okay, Dragon Quest Heroes, the world trees woe, and the bite. I screwed it. The bite below. Yeah, bite me below. Dragon Quest, one of the most iconic RPG series from Japan, now comes to PC as a full-scale action RPG in Dragon Quest Heroes, the world trees woe, and the blight below. Coming out day after tomorrow. Caitlin?
Koei Tecmo America Corp. is a publisher of interactive entertainment software for current generation consoles, handhelds, and digital download content based in Burlingame, California. The company is a wholly owned subsidiary of Koei Tecmo Holdings Co. Limited, headquartered in Yokohama, Japan. Tecmo is best known for the Dead or Alive, Ninja Gaiden, Tecmo Bowl, and Fatal Frame series, while Koei is best known for its Dynasty Warrior and Samurai Warriors franchises.
That's so funny because we had a Korean production that felt American to me earlier on, and this is just the opposite. This felt like an Asian market produced, and it's actually made by the Americans. So, don't know what to make of this so much. Don't know if I like it. No, actually, I know that I don't like it. I'm not too attracted to it at all. Just looking at the trailer. Dan?
I'm a massive Dragon Warrior fan, Dragon Quest, whatever you want to call it. I'm not so much a Dynasty Warriors fan, but I did play Hyrule Warriors, and it actually sold me on the genre. Yeah, honestly, this is just a reskin Dynasty Warriors. That's all it really is. But if you like the IPs they're skinning it, there's really nothing to hate about it. It looks good. I know it's going to play good. It has the same type of engines that the Dynasty Warriors games use. Hopefully they go a little deeper since it is based on more of an RPG than an adventure game like Hyrule Warriors was. But I'm really, really excited for this. I've been watching it for a long time now, and it looks fantastic. So hopefully it holds up to it.
And you're the guy who reviewed something very similar to this, actually. I think just a month when we launched one of the old new websites.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you reviewed something RPG. I forget.
Was
the
it
name.
No, it was a tactic one I reviewed. That was the pirate one, Sword and Crossbones.
No. There's
No?
something else. I
Red
forget.
always looks better than you, trust me.
Remember, we had the big banner. We launched a new website on
Oh,
it.
Zisteria, Tales of Zisteria.
Yes,
Yeah,
Tales of
I'm thinking on
Zisteria.
stream
That
tonight.
one. Yeah. So that's similar, no? It's
No, very different.
No.
This is the battle system is a little similar, just in the fact that you have a character, you're actually inputting commands, you're not just going through menus. This is an action game. It's not necessarily an RPG. You're going out there, you're fighting hordes upon hordes upon hordes of enemies. It's just meant for hack and slash fun and just destroy everybody.
So it's
But
more
it
like
has
a Shadow of Mordor type of thing.
a little bit, yeah. I mean, if you play Dynasty Warriors, that's basically all it is. Get out there and kill.
Or Ninja Gaiden, kind of
Or
like
Ninja Gaiden, but a little
and
more.
Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah, it's just
Toei games are fun. They're
They are.
Like
simple, but
everything
they
they
are fun.
made.
It's true. They
Of all
are.
the action RPGs we've seen tonight, this is probably going to be the most fun.
Peter?
I just have to say that I am a descendant of Erdrick.
Thank you.
Nice.
And you know, when I saw you, when I first saw you, I thought this guy, descendant for sure. We're gonna move on because we still have a couple to cover. The next game that we're looking at is Store Manager Cellular Edition. I'm very curious on why the name Cellular Edition is coming out on PC, but maybe somebody can shed some light on it. Store Manager Cellular Edition, right over at you, Peter.
Store Manager Cellular Edition will be the most comprehensive and accurate retail store simulator ever created. You too can work on Thanksgiving. Hire employees and manage their stress level, hours, and happiness. Maintain inventory, set
do that all the
prices,
time.
and market your store to bring in as many customers as you can. Yeah. Caitlin?
All right. Chiview Games is just one person, Matt Shilachi. He worked for many cellular companies before deciding to drop everything and start in the world of indie developing. He has done a lot of contract work under the company Mash Mobility, including various media work, internal apps, Android games, and more. More recently, he's starting a brand of retail store simulation games under the heading Store Manager, which of course starts off with Store Manager Cellular Edition.
Awesome. Looks just like Fallout. Then,
Not even close. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, Fred. I watched like 10 seconds of that trailer and then I skipped it because it's just montages.
yeah,
I don't know what to say. I mean, I do this at work all day. I'm not trying to work at home, so it's pass for me.
fair. Chris?
It's just like what I said before. It's like, why do people want to keep simulating in a video game what sucks in real life? You know, like, I don't understand any of why this could be fun. It's like Street Sweeper Simulator or Truck Driving Simulator or The Sims. Like, why do people play these games?
Wow. Malari?
Maybe it's like the computer-based training module for learning how to work at Walmart.
You can
Maybe that's what he's
It's a
going to do.
Walmart
He's
recruitment tool.
yeah, you could sell
he's
this
going
up
to
to
sell
mom.
it to train employees, something like that. I feel
Hey,
like
not
everyone
everyone will be the store manager.
Like,
I feel like you guys are being tough on this. There could
Why
be
is it
something
called
to it.
cellular, though?
Yeah, that's the
Because it's
question.
cellular stores. He's doing cellular stores.
Oh.
Oh, this even worse. Oh, no, that's
Okay.
so
well, didn't she say in the description that he worked for different cellular stores?
I
Something
feel
like
like if you're gonna sell this on PC, you should not have the name. You should not have the word cellular plugged into the name of your game because immediately we don't have that attention span. We're just immediately gonna think, this is available for iPads or iPhones, or this is not for me. It's like the
It's just
Walking
like-
Dead game.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
Fine.
you're managing your employees on like the molecular level, perhaps. You know, like
it just ain't gonna happen. Moving on, the next game, Hell Divers. Hell Divers, Peter, right over at you. And at the end of this game, I will be giving out another Steam key away, so stay tuned, and we'll do the voting thing. Hell Divers, everybody, Peter.
Helldivers is a hardcore cooperative twin-stick shooter from the creators of Magicka. As part of the elite unit called the Helldivers, players must work together to protect Super Earth and defeat the enemies of mankind in an intense intergalactic war. Coming out on the 7th. Caitlin?
All right. This was developed by Arrowhead Game Studios. Apparently, they made Magicka, and they say that games should challenge the creativity of the individuals who play them. This holds true for all Arrowhead games, no matter how casual, action-packed, or story-driven. They believe that one of the key factors to create a memorable experience is to engage the gamers. And they go on for a while, but that's the gist.
To me, somebody mute your microphone if you're tapping on your keyboard. This looks very, very cool to me. I am sold. I love the graphic art. I would like to check this out. Dan.
I just reviewed Circuit Breakers, and the whole time I was playing this,
You
even
did.
with my buddies, I was just thinking, man, I wish there was a little more depth to this. I wish there was something that just drew me into this more, some kind of progression system besides mindless re-textured level after level. This looks like exactly what I was wanting to see, and I'm sold. This looks fantastic. It looks great. Hopefully there's some local co-op. That's my only beef about it. It looks like it's drop-in, drop-out, Steam-based co-op, and we have a lot of that, but if there's local co-op, I'm sold.
And I'm also gonna add that a lot of those space games always kind of look like the same stuff, and they rely on just the visually stunning graphic that they can get out of portraying space with, I don't know, the tools they use. But this one, they went further. Like this one is stylized.
Yes.
So I would give this one a shot for sure. Chris.
Just a small comment. Just like 16-bit graphics automatically make every game good, space also automatically makes every game good.
Right.
Agreed.
Yeah, but this one is at least is original good. Peter.
No game called Helldivers should come out on December 7th, the day that will live in infamy. That's all I'm saying.
You're rough tonight. You're a mean person. Caitlin.
I just wanted to come from the perspective of someone who generally dislikes space games. You know, playing devil's advocate against Chris, I would play this because it actually looks cool,
Yeah.
even though it's a space game, despite that.
Yeah, Chris.
Excellent. Told you, automatically good. She's gonna play it now.
Eli. lot of reactions on this specific one. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say, like somebody else pointed out in the chat, at the end it says PlayStation. Are we sure it's for PC?
Yeah, it's for PC. It's on Metacritic. We love Metacritic, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on. It's.
I mean, we may have pulled the PlayStation trailer because often they brand it for PlayStation, and sometimes they do multiple trailers, but it's the same.
Occasionally,
it's on Steam. We're good.
Occasionally we mess up. Super occasionally.
And it is a twin stick game, so naturally it's going to work well on a controller with two.
All right, guys, before we move on to the next trailer, I'm going to ask everybody in chat, and there's quite a few of you tonight. Thanks for joining us. I'm going to ask everybody in chat to enter a number between 3 and 100 for the next game we're giving away, the second game in a row that we're giving away, and this one is called Rogue Harvest, and this is a Steam key. I will be giving you a Steam key after the next trailer. Type a number between 3 and 100, and the closest one that is the one closest to the one I have in my head, you're gonna get the Steam key. Okay, moving on, and the next game, give me a second. The next game that we have for you tonight is The Sims 4, which is an expansion pack. Get together. I want a good conversation on this one, Chris, Nintendo fanboy. Press play. Peter, right at you.
Wait a minute. Because he's a Nintendo fanboy,
Peter,
he has to
keep
like
the
EA the
description of the
Sims.
game.
Like the Sims.
You just gotta poke the bear, don't you?
No,
This
go ahead.
is made by a PC company.
This is not the description of the game. Sims 4.
Is
Get
adding a
together.
European-themed world this fall with Get Together. While the Intercontinental Edition seemed nice, the coolest part of the new expansion is a fleshed-out friendship system. Your Sims will be able to join different clubs, each with their own interests, personalities, and styles. They have defined behaviors that dictate how they tend to including how they treat other Sims, and what they do or do not like to do. There will be a variety of clubs waiting for your Sims when you first load up the expansion pack, but you'll also be able to create and customize your own. You can set their requirements, decide what behaviors they have, choose their preferred hangouts, and even give them distinct rewards, like making out in the treehouse. Caitlin?
Yeah.
Founded in 1982, Electronic Arts, EA Games, is a leading global interactive entertainment software company. EA delivers games, content, and online services for internet-connected consoles, personal computers, mobile phones, and tablets.
So I don't know, but Paris is having some major reactions to SimCity. You're having some major. I'm hoping you're tired, Paris, but I'm still gonna call you out on this one. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm actually really super against this one. Because I'm really sick of The Sims and this let's emulate a social life while we're avoiding our social life sort of things. That there's all the Sims game. Like there are the very few differences, and like the most fun that people have out of them eventually boils down to let's find creative ways to torture and murder these Sims on this game. And you know what? I don't need another game for that.
I hate to agree entirely wholly with Paris, but I kind of totally agree with you, man. Dan,
I just gotta say, Alucard nailed it in chat. It says, "Sorry, I already have a micromanaged life." Dropping the mic. That's it. End conversation.
boom, cold.
I feel like everyone knows what The Sims is. Why would we go through the trouble of reviewing every single DLC they release?
But maybe The Sims is not just not for us, it's for kids. I feel like The Sims is for kids. And I'm going to be the devil's advocate, even though I kind of completely agree with Paris. Maybe I would like my 12, 13-year-old to play this game if he really wanted it. I wouldn't be so opposed. I don't know.
Yeah, but then wouldn't that be... If you're coming from that angle, wouldn't the parent then know what The Sims is? And
All your
What if your
13-year-old
13-year-old kid comes home every night super stoned and you're thinking, I gotta set him back down the right path and hang out with normal teenagers and show
I
him.
feel like maybe The Sims is not the way to go about that.
Exactly.
I'm just saying, he looks like a genuine, wholesome American teenager fun. Chris.
So I wholeheartedly agree with Paris 100%. And also, I don't want to take up too much of my time on this, but I don't understand how this is any way related to Nintendo.
Oh, it's absolutely real. Okay, we can.
I don't understand.
They've never had Sims on Nintendo.
I look at.
No, I mean, the
yeah,
Sims
maybe for
was
my
all
kid.
over the Wii. It's true, but that's just because of EA and their inability to not make money off of every single thing that they look at. That's
Yeah,
all.
I feel like it's a lost piece for me for EA. I don't know why they don't drop it. I agree with Paris.
It makes them tons of money.
Right?
I mean, the Sims
So
is
it's
like,
selling. So
yeah, it's selling wildly.
so who buys these games?
My girlfriend does. I mean,
You, Caitlin, you're
I had a roommate once, and all she played was Sims. It was, I couldn't deal with it. And my first boyfriend played it, and it's
Your
like you
boyfriend.
build things. You build people that you know, and then you give them names, and then you control their life. What? It's Minecraft for like really dramatic teenage girls.
Wow.
Dan.
Best
Never
quote of the
mind, never
night.
mind. What I had to say was too harsh. We're gonna say
No,
it for later. on
You
TeamSpeak.
say Dan. This is about that time of the night where we can get stuff that's a
I
little
was
bit
gonna
more
comment to
marginal.
Caitlin on that. Yeah, I don't know if I want to micromanage my friends' lives. That sounds a little sociopathic. That's why I get concerned when you say stuff like that. I'm glad you're not with that guy anymore or with that roommate anymore, because I'd be a little worried for you, your safety.
Peter, you had something to say.
Yes, I did. And now it's missing.
Well, I am happy to report that the person who gets Rogue Lens is High Def Gaming 427. Congratulations, thanks for participating, High Def Gaming 427. I'll be sending you the game as we watch the next trailer. So I think we can conclude, do not review the Sims, but moving forward, the next trailer is Dorothy. Dorothy, everybody press play, stylo. Peter, right over at you.
Dorothy wakes up in the hospital and soon finds out he must release the souls of the robots imprisoned in the gold doubloons by the giant space pirates. I have no clue how that goes together. Help Dorothy roll, bounce, crash, fly, and die to free the unfortunate souls. Coming out tomorrow. Caitlin?
Dorothy was created by BuildBox customer Colin Wade Thiessen, along with the assistance of his two young children, Caleb and Jaya.
Nice. Anybody about anybody has anything to say about this? Chris?
I always have a lot of respect for a game that incorporates like music and action together well, and this seems like a game that does that. And the soundtrack sounds really cool. At least it seems like something I'd enjoy. I could see, if this was like a $10 game, $8 game, I could see myself picking this up and easily spending a few hours just wasting trying to like get each level down perfectly. Probably also so I could collect each item to the beat. So yeah, I would love to play this game.
Anybody else? Anyone else? Anything? Colt.
I'm gonna give this a 1, if only because it's, I think, maybe the only platformer I've seen tonight. And I mean, it doesn't even necessarily look bad. So,
All right. I guess that's good enough. Good enough for now. We move on. The 3 last game of tonight's show. 3 last games, and then we'll be giving the last key away. Corgi Warlock. Everybody press play. Peter, right at you for Corgi Warlock.
Corgi Warlock is a 1 to 4 player side-scrolling action game where one brave Corgi will take on the Skeleton Bunny King's army. Against the powers of narwhals, fencing bears, and crazed unicorns, it takes more than your average Corgi to survive the King's onslaught. It takes a Corgi Warlock. Caitlin?
A one-person game studio by Xander Corgi. He does all the art, animation, design, programming, and music.
Interesting. I don't know. Yeah, Peter.
So he's not just doing this because the Corgi's a weird dog. It's also his name.
Yeah.
How could we not review this? I mean, this looks so hysterical. It could be a train wreck, but it could also be kind of beautiful. And I don't know.
I mean, it's apparently story heavy.
It's also a platformer.
Caitlin.
Fundamentally, it looks like.
I don't know, the art style or something about it kind of reminded me of Castle Crashers, which was, I think, wildly popular in my friend group for a while.
Malari?
So.
I think that we have to review it.
Okay.
Totally. I think that there are going to be people streaming this on Twitch all the time for
Really?
a while. I think it's going to be hilarious. I do. And the thing that reminds you of Castle Crashers is the guy's voice while he's talking.
Yeah.
Because it has the same cadence to his voice. Like it kind
He
of
does
has
not care.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be funny. I have great faith that this game is gonna be good.
Okay, I think it's I think we're gonna give it a go. Just a lot of positive feedback. Sometimes you guys surprise me. Vampire Legends: The True Story of. Sorry, I'm a little bit cut off. The True Story of Kisilova. Press play, everybody. Peter, right at you.
Vampire Legends: The True Story of Kisilova is an adventure game with elements of horror based on the first documented case of vampirism. 18th century Europe, 50 years after a great plague has swept the land of the Habsburg dynasty, the subjects of the emperor are in danger again. A series of horrifying, unexplained deaths occur in the remote Serbian town of Kisilova. Fearing that the plague may be striking again, the residents begin to flee their homes. Summoned by the Prince of Württemberg himself, imperial emissaries come to Kisilova to investigate the events and prevent further deaths. Caitlin?
02D Studios is a dynamic and collaborative interactive advertising agency specializing in the complete digital consumer experience, including interactive web design, online advertising, banner ads, landing pages, websites, social media, and big ideas. They effectively combine their expertise with cost-efficient, high-value production services.
I don't know why, but there's something about this trailer that takes me back to when I was a little kid, and that for me sells it. It's graphically, I think it's very impressive. Even more so the stuff that's penciled rather than painted. The couple images we saw, there's just real artists behind this for sure. And I don't know, it brings me back to when I was a little kid. I was playing those point and click games. So that just want to make me say, yeah, let's give this one a go, especially because point and click lately, and I don't know if this one classifies so much as point and click, but for sure, there's been a lot of flops. And I think the genre still very much has a chance out there. So I would say yes, let's give it an absolute 1. Any comments on this one, Eli?
I just wanted to say it looks like it doesn't look like a point and click so much as it looks like it's a hidden object game. And if that's what it is, then I wouldn't do it just because there's not really much to review in hidden object games. You're just trying to find stuff on the screen.
The hidden object. Colt?
it looks like something my grandparents would play. We're just like
not
religiously.
that old.
And they play hidden object games all the time, and this looks like something that would be right up their alley. I'm almost tempted to give it to them and see if they can review it.
Yeah, Myst.
But
To people in the chat, yes, Myst was awesome. Caitlin.
A couple weeks ago, maybe a month, I played this game called Dark Heritage, Guardians of Hope. And it was a point-and-click puzzle hidden object game. And this one looks a lot like it for, like, even some of the symbols that they used on the bottles and everything. It looked very similar and like a better version of it. So I would almost be interested in comparing. Like, I'll read whoever reviews it, or I'll play it myself.
Yeah, because you played the game that actually looked a lot like this. I forget the name. Maybe a month or 6 weeks ago. I remember you reviewed a game that was similar to that. Chris. Yeah, I'm calling you out on this.
Sorry. It's funny because so I was saying it's basically an adventure game fundamentally, right? I think is what that would be called today. And one thing I know is that there's a lot of adventure games made, a lot of them, and frequently they're not rated well. I don't play them myself, but I did notice that generally most adventure games rate quite poorly. However, if it's our job to rate independent games, we should rate independent adventure games, and we should find out whether or not they're any better. Because I think most of them are independent, but I think it's an important genre to represent in the independent scene because it's a very large one. So we shouldn't skip it, especially since we don't see them as often. It's weird. We see even a lot of space shooters much more than we see adventure games these days. So I think we should take it on. Actually, I think I put 0 before, but I meant to put 1.
Okay,
so, yeah.
Awesome. Converting it to a 1. The very last game this week before we close the show and we do the final giveaway. I'm still gonna call out the giveaway. I believe the giveaway for the very last game, let me get this right. Space Food Truck. We're giving away Space Food Truck, generously donated by the developers themselves. Type a number between 3 and 100, and the closest one that comes to the number I have in my head will be the lucky winner. Pressing play, everybody, and I think it's very, very funny actually that the last game that we finished this show on is called Save Your Mother. Peter.
Alice Anderson, a world-renowned scholar, faces a dilemma of grand proportions when her mother falls gravely ill. No traditional cures have been able to save her, not even the most unconventional methods have worked. Join her as she discovers the legend about Elohim Cube, a mysterious artifact that might be their only hope. Long lost to the sands of time, the cube is said to possess an incredible healing power. Over the ages, many have attempted to retrieve the cube, but to no avail. All were foiled by the long and arduous path that leads to the cube, and in turn, salvation. Will you be able to unravel the mysteries of the Elohim Cube?
All right. Go ahead,
Caitlin?
Caitlin.
Tuomo Lane is an innovative award-winning game maker. Tuomo has taken part in many international game-making contests and has won many awards, such as Save Your Mother, which won first place in the Quest for Fun game-making contest. Save Your Mother is now on Steam Greenlight, and hopefully this is a greatly improved version will be released this year still. Welcome to the website and learn more about the game. She makes games for contests.
Yeah. Save Your Mama. The lucky winner of today's last game that we're giving away is Fat Ash. Here it is. The name of the person in chat. So congratulations, Fat Ash. You've got yourself...
I think it's Patosh. Yes.
I don't know. Fat Ash, you've got yourself a key of Space Food Truck, which I will be giving you away in a whisper. We want to thank everybody for tuning in this week to the Should We Cover It show. It's every Tuesday night at 9:30 p.m. US Eastern Time. We discuss the trailers of all the games coming out this week. I invite you to check us out on www.opnoobs.com. Overpower Noobs, PC Gaming by PC Gamers. We are a collection of writers, streamers, interviewers. We do a bunch of reviews, dev talk. Support us on patreon.com. Do it all. Just check us out, apply, reach out to us, be part of the team, hang out on Tuesday nights. And thank you, everybody. Have a fun show. Stylomax, you can give us the video outro, and we'll see you here next week, next Tuesday, at the same time, same place. Thanks, everybody, for joining. We'll see you later.